the biggest learning, right? I mean, I've done Prem before. The biggest learning in doing a cloud implementation, and this is, yes, my first cloud implementation, was the amount of dependency. I felt I had a greater level of dependency on the SI than I've experienced before, right? In doing that. So picking the SI is fundamentally important. In terms of the actual product itself, right? And what do you do differently, right? It was the amount of upstream work that you had to do, right? So upstream work in terms of the standardization, right? And the process mapping and that sort of thing, right? It's heavier than I experienced on-prem because the implementation approach is different, right? So you have to commit and put aside time for the HR function and the HR team to do that. And as Manu said, configuration, actual rollout and UAT testing is relatively short, right? So I think what you have, and you do less, at least from my own experience, you do less iteration because the system doesn't allow you to do things.
Yes.
Right? So you're constrained. You have to do it this way, this way, this way. I can't make the look and feel look like this. It's predefined. I don't spend time creating the look and feel. I can say these are the fields, this is what I want the fields labeled, but the fact that there's 3 fields is fixed. I don't get into that configuration discussion, right? So the effort shifts to the front end and is actually in a way heavier on the HR team than it was because you can configure less, therefore you have less customization to accommodate all the things that you usually do the way you do it in HR. Right? So you have to spend more time at the front end, and the amount of time spent on configuration and rollout actually shrinks because it's much more standard in terms of what you do. That's one. The other thing that was interesting for me, right, is the changing role of IT. Right? Because what does IT now do? You're going outside, the configuration is done by an SI. If you do integrations, yes, you have IT, but to be honest, I mean, I think we're still figuring out how IT is involved in all this.